Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel, and I kind of thought I was a little bit done with crypto news, but I just can't seem to get away from it. So sit tight, and welcome to another episode of Oh Boy, what did Craig Wright do now?
Oh boy, what did Craig Wright do now?
So if you guys remember the Craig Wright versus Kleiman estate court case where Craig Wright apparently has 1.1 million Bitcoin, and he shared that with the court for some reason, even though it was on the prosecution to actually bring forth that evidence. So I don't know why he did. Yeah, that court case. The very convoluted one, the vague one, the false facts and some facts nonsense that never really got anywhere or came to any sort of conclusion. That court case, exactly. So court lets Craig Wright wait for the keys to his 8.5 billion Bitcoin stash to be delivered. So you might say, what is that all about? Well, there's supposed to be some kind of secret, mysterious, magical courier that was supposed to show up to Craig Wright sometime this year, January or something like that, where they would show up, and bring the last convenient slice to the encryption files that he needs to unlock said 1.1 or whatever million Bitcoin that he allegedly owns, that 50% belongs to the Kleiman estate. I don't know, that the Tulip Trust document states that is supposed to be exclusively Craig Wright's. Exactly. So Craig Wright, the man desperate to convince the world that he's the Bitcoin creator, may have something to celebrate in his ongoing lawsuit against the Kleiman estate if the so-called bonded courier, in quotations, I had to put it in quotations too, like this one already, shows up. Basically, things are getting weird, as if they already weren't. Court documents shared by CoinDesk details how a U.S. district judge has called several previously established facts into question. Yeah, I would too. Judge Reinhardt, who Wright insulted during a recent interview, had deemed it a fact that the Kleiman estate retained a 50-50 stake in Wright's assets and intellectual property. However, court documents show that Justice Bloom, apparently the new judge, has said that the facts are unsettled. Well, aren't you just a little genius, Justice Bloom? Previously, the hearing centered around the amount and whereabouts of Wright's Bitcoin stash, meaning his partnership with the late David Kleiman was beyond Reinhardt's remit, Bloom says. She also notes that the amount of Bitcoin owned by Wright remains unknown, or at the very least, still an issue. Yes, it is, because Craig Wright provided some documents of totally random Bitcoin public keys that honestly anybody, literally anybody, could look up and then just equate to 1.1 million Bitcoin, depending on how many you want to put together. And that's what he provided to the court. Evidence. The lawsuit began in February 2018 after Dave Kleiman's brother, Ira, filed a suit over the rights to a significant stash of Bitcoin. Ira, who is suing for approximately 1 million Bitcoin, even though he probably should just get half, but sure, 1 million Bitcoin, claims Wright seized his brother's Bitcoin and his intellectual property as part of a fraudulent scheme after Dave passed away in 2013. Kind of sounds like Craig Wright. The latest development comes after Craig Wright was deemed to be in contempt of court after failing to provide a comprehensive list of his Bitcoin stash before the end of 2013. But wait, I thought he provided a bunch of totally random public keys. Not good enough? What? Who would have thought? He claims to have deposited the Bitcoin mined between 2009 and 2010 into a blind trust. Totally, because that's what I do too, which is now expired. Wright claims he is unable to decrypt the file until he's given access by a bonded courier who will apparently arrive in January 2020. God, this is such a yeah, I go my crew. I don't have the Bitcoin. I get a courier in 2020 that we set up mysteriously like 10 years before this, just conveniently, coincidentally. It just never stops getting good. It just doesn't stop. The court questions whether it is remotely plausible that the mysterious bonded courier is going to arrive, let alone that he'll arrive in January 2020, as the defendant now contends. However, given that the defendant maintains that he should at least be afforded this opportunity, okay, fair enough. The court will indulge him this much, reads the court following. In the event this occurs, and further if the defendant produces his list of Bitcoin holdings as ordered by magistrate judge, then this court will not impose any additional sanctions other than the ones discussed above. It continues. Wright now has until February 3rd to file a notice. with the court indicating whether or not this mysterious figure has appeared from the shadows. So moving on from that, a little while later, Craig Wright, Bitcoin self-declared creator, says the much-anticipated bonded courier hath arrived. I put the hath in there. It's has arrived, but I thought hath would be more mysterious and coincidental, you know. According to a court filing to the U.S. District Court, Southern Florida, dated January 14th, a third party has provided the necessary information in key slice to unlock the encrypted file. This is real. Seemingly referencing the mysterious unnamed intermediary with the private keys necessary to unlock the 9.6 billion Bitcoin trove. It's like a cherub arrived, like a big fat baby on wings, and has arrived, and it's just like, oh, it's like the god touching, you know, the man's finger, and it arrives like in a beam of light. Everybody looks up, oh, the light, and this cherub comes down, you know, with just a loincloth and wings, and it has, you know, like a Trezor wallet or like a USB drive with the encrypted keys on it that they just happened to set up 10 years ago. Oh, man. And another filing Tuesday night, attorneys for Ira Kleiman, the brother of Wright's now deceased business partner, Dave Kleiman, wrote that Wright only provided a list of 16,404 addresses. Yeah, because I got all that information. I got 16,404 addresses. I'll just write them all down for you. But no information about the courier. Right. So, you know, it was probably more like, you know, he finally cracked the hard drives of Dave Kleiman or, you know, whoever, you know, and finally got it. Who knows? But probably not. It's probably additional BS. This so-called bonded courier was originally to arrive January 1st, but he was a little bit late. He didn't arrive to January 14th. He just forgot about it. The guy was just sitting on his couch eating Funyuns or maybe like Cool Ranch Doritos, and he's just like, I forgot. Like, it's like January 5th, and he's just like, oh, and he does like a Kevin McAllister, you know, and like he immediately gets a plane ticket, and like, you know, Delta Airlines is like, hey, like if you wanted this ticket 4 days, you know, from now, it's gonna cost you like $1,000, and the guy's like, oh man, $1,000 now, I'm barely gonna get paid for these 10 years of waiting around with my private keys. And then he flies over, you know, casts his magic spell, turns himself into a cherub, you know, purposely goes up into the air so he can cast his beam of light, comes down. I'm sorry, I'm having way too much fun with this. But Wright instead requested an extension for the intermediary to unlock the encrypted Tulip Trust at the heart of the case. Because why unlock them right away, right? Like, 1.1 million Bitcoin can wait. You know, $9.6 billion. We'll do it in a week. You know what I mean? Can I get a week? I don't know. I already, you know, whatever, right? Like $9.6 billion. You know, put it in the closet. You know what I mean? I'll get to it. On January 10th, U.S. District Judge Beth Bloom granted Wright until February 3rd to alert the court of the courier's arrival. Plaintiffs requested that they provide within 7 days in interrogatories about the courier. That's a real word. That Craig must respond in 10 days. Plaintiffs will then use those responses to seek discovery from the bonded courier, the cherub, and his company. Kleiman's lawyers wrote, in the interim, plaintiffs are having their experts review and analyze the list. Plaintiffs expect that they will be ready to depose Craig after this discovery occurs in early March. What is this? It's like, no, we got till February 3rd, and then like we'll do it March. I don't know. It's supposed to arrive January 1st. I got it the 14th. My guy was just like, he was busy. Like, he was busy at the local trap house. You know what I mean? Like, he was like just, you know, pounding. He's just pounding meth into his body, and he's just like, oh, you know what? I forgot my friend's, you know, $9.6 billion. I was supposed to deliver it like 4 days ago, and everyone's like, nah, just stay, man. Don't worry about $9.6 billion. Delivered on the 14th, you know, whatever. The guy's like, yeah, you guys are right. The 1.1 million Bitcoin Tulip Trust is at the center of a bitter dispute, and Judge Bloom expressed doubt over the bonded courier's existence. Judge Bloom, you are a clever cat. I don't know why, but Judge Bloom is a clever cat. I kind of want to meet Judge Bloom. I kind of want to just like I want to like have a double date or something, like bring the wife, bring the old lady, and she can bring her husband. We'll just have a good time. We can have a chat. We can have some dinner. Like I think like Judge Bloom and I would get along, and I don't know why. Wright was previously held in contempt of court for failing to produce a full list of his Bitcoin holdings, or just a totally fake list, whatever. He alleged it would be impossible to comply with the court order, as his Bitcoin was encrypted by the complicated Shamir secret sharing scheme. Totally. So this is his, notice of compliance. Dr. Wright files this notice of compliance with the court's order dated January 10th. And then he received it I thought he received it on January 14th. So like so he wrote this. He said that specifically Dr. Wright notifies the court that a third party has provided the necessary information. I thought it arrived. According to a court filing, okay, it's dated January 14th. Okay, so on the 10th, this is the 10th. So dated January 14th, but he said this on the 10th. So did he get it on the 1st? I don't know. Who knows? Again, the information is just all over the place. Has provided the necessary information in the key slice to unlock the encrypted file. This is like Mission Impossible at this point. And Dr. Wright has produced a list of his Bitcoin holdings, I bet, as ordered by the magistrate judge to plaintiffs today. And also, Dr. Wright is currently can't come to court because he's currently hanging by a wire and doing some kind of secret cool thing while hanging by a wire like Tom Cruise. Not like Tom Cruise, actually better than Tom Cruise. And hanging, and he's like trying to get past like lasers and stuff. So it's too much. Like, you guys don't want to know. Anyway, so I'll keep you guys up to date when this probably real information. However, one more thing I gotta say about this is, holy pump! Oh my God, Bitcoin SV up 106%. What? Has actually surpassed Bitcoin Cash at this period. And a little while back, it actually passed up Binance Coin and pretty much everything. It is bigger than Tether. Oh my God! So 106% pump. It is now valued at $7,114,000,000. Excuse me. While Bitcoin Cash is at $6,306,000. So actually earlier today, I was looking at CoinMarketCap, and Bitcoin Cash was 4th and SV was 5th. So that just shows you how fast that this happened. Like about a 24-hour period, it started pumping. We'll go with pumping. Why not? And it was actually like a couple hundred, or maybe like 100 million less than Bitcoin Cash. So no, Bitcoin SV officially passes Bitcoin Cash. That's literally news to me as I'm recording this. So now it is valued at $394. And if you just look at the 1 month period, we can actually even look at the 7-day period. It's actually been it was $117. Then there was that little pump of Bitcoin to like 8,100, and I don't think it was necessarily because of SV, although this was on the 10th, so that does kind of make sense. But once this news came out today on the 14th, we were at about $203, and oh my God, we're at $400. So it went up a full 100% for sure, give or take a couple percent. And because people think that apparently, I mean, buy the rumor, sell the news, all the power to you. But I think a lot of people thought that, Craig Wright actually has these keys now. And I guess there's no reason to say that they don't, with a lot of doubt. But I don't believe it for a second. Like, I'm going to believe it when I see it. And, like, don't be like, oh, MrSotko, I told you so. Because I'm just like, okay, like, I'm willing to believe it. But just like, when I see it, you know what I'm saying? And they thought that he has these keys, and a lot of people think that Craig Wright is going to sell off 1.1 million Bitcoin, which actually would take a while to sell. $9.6 billion or $8 billion or $8.5 billion or whatever it is. Like, what's the difference, right? Would take quite a while. Like, the liquidity just wouldn't allow that. Like, you definitely would have to put it on like billions of dollars on different exchanges and then like slowly sell it off over months. Like, that would be actually hard to do. Like, that's a lot of money. And that would significantly damage Bitcoin, although it would be some easy Bitcoin for you to pick up, and then pump Bitcoin SV with those numbers. Anybody would effectively have to buy his own coin, which is probably not under Craig Wright. Shady in my opinion, but for Craig Wright, oh, Craig Wright, oh boy, what did Craig Wright do now? I can't wait for the next episode of that. But moving on to actual news, shooting footage shows attack shooting at North Miami restaurant. So I kind of want to talk about this when this one actually happened several days ago on the 8th. And the reason why I want to talk about this video is that there was a lot of Twitter drama about this. And it was sort of race card drama saying, that, well, you'll see in a moment. I'll show you the video. But basically, one man is behind bars after a bizarre back and forth, and it led to a victim becoming shot. So let me just roll the video. You're going to need to see the video, and maybe I can talk through it. Because there's going to be no sound. I'm going to stop the video before any kind of shooting, because you can watch the whole video. It's not like you can't find this. But you can see there's this gentleman eating what apparently is like some cheese fries or nachos. Those look pretty good, by the way. And then there's this gentleman over here. And apparently they were just looking at each other. They weren't talking before. This man is angry that he was looking at him. Obviously, this guy's like, what's going on? His hands were and he begins being pummeled. He breaks free, runs in the back, pulls out a gun, and chases him out. And then once he is outdoors, actually fires on the guy once he makes it to the street. So there's a good several seconds. You could say upwards of maybe 10 seconds. I didn't really time it, but let's just say that for argument's sake, I suppose. And who got arrested for this? Who got charged? We'll give you a few seconds on that one. Well, it's going to be this guy down here that shot. But why? They're in Florida, and Florida is a stand your ground state. If you don't know exactly what stand your ground means, most other states in the United States, or at least non-stand your ground states, if somebody comes up to you with a knife and they say, I'm going to kill you now, and I'm going to slash you up, and you have a gun, if you pull out your gun and immediately shoot, it's not looking good for you. Well, that's kind of crazy. Well, that's a non-stand your ground state. And in a non-stand your ground state, you are obligated to attempt to retreat first. And if you start running, the man chases you down, stabs you, then you shoot him, totally justified. In a stand your ground state, if somebody comes up to you with a knife, says, I'm going to cut you, you pull out a gun and immediately shoot him on the spot, you are justified in doing that. So why was he arrested, and why on earth was this man not arrested? So some people were playing the race card, saying that, of course, a black man, a stand your ground doesn't apply to you. Well, I just want to say that, first of all, I find it absolutely egregious and outrageous that this man here was charged with nothing. Literally, he was actually charged with nothing. He just completely got away with standing up and pummeling a man in the face numerous times and then getting shot for it. So the reason why this doesn't stand your ground, and some people might not understand this and sort of immediately want to play it out with drama, is that this man started to run when he seen the gun. And then this man literally chased him down for several seconds and then shot him. So really, it was more of a crime of retribution, more vengeance, or a crime of passion at that point. It would have been different if during the pummeling, the man pulled out a pistol immediately and shot him on the spot in the restaurant, or if it had happened right outside of the restaurant. But chasing a man down after there is no longer a life or death situation where the other person is now retreating. So an interesting thing, and it caused a lot of drama. So even like the other guy was arrested and charged. This guy was arrested and charged with aggravated battery with a weapon, which I mean, I get it. It doesn't make too much sense, but the other guy was running and he had to physically chase him down to shoot him. So that it was really a crime of passion at that point, a crime of vengeance, really. But the other guy has not been arrested or charged and was in stable condition at a local hospital. So it's not like they didn't find this guy, like he just ran away. He was at a hospital and nobody bothered to press charges on this guy at all for just basically randomly pummeling this guy. So a catch-22 situation, but I just wanted to clear up some of that drama, at least with my opinion. But moving on to other news, the Philippine volcano, the tall volcano, erupted and is spewing ash and 40,000 people had to evacuate. And now they think that it might erupt again. And it has caused a lot of deaths and a lot of problems. The tall volcano, if I can find a picture, is located inside of like a what I would call a caldera in the Philippines, and we can see some of these pictures. I just wanted to share some of these pictures. This is the landscape after the ash was spewed 40 plus miles into the air. At least 30,000 people have fled since a mammoth eruption in the Philippines, and they think it's going to erupt again, but a lot of people returned to clean up and get their belongings and stuff, which is probably very, very dangerous. In fact, the Philippines and that region in general is known for some of the biggest volcanic explosions in the planet. There were even a lot of stories I urge you to look up, even in the 17th and 18th century of like boats going by and the volcanic ash from some of the explosions just being felt around the world for the most part. Extremely volatile area, but these pictures are pretty savage. These are pictures of men coming back to claim some of their property. You can barely even see what they're digging through. There's so much ash and so much sand. This is a home in the background that is just absolutely demolished. You can see it's cinder block too, and the roof completely collapsed. This tree covered in ash. The tree has been so burnt it looks like it's actually been almost concretified, almost petrified in a way. And another picture with a horse that had lost its life, been washed up on sea. You can see there's just so much ash. And another picture of a house just completely collapsing from underneath all of the ash. So bad times in the Philippines. Just wanted to bring that all to your attention. Maybe look that up if you guys want some more information from that. But a big savage scene there. And I hope everybody is okay. Moving on to CoinMarketCap. Since I did talk about crypto, I did want to talk about CoinMarketCap a little bit. The entire market, in case you guys just were going, no, I don't want to look at my phone today, which I know if you guys are into crypto, you did not. Or you did. You did look at your phone. But up, way, way, way up. Bitcoin SV continues to climb. The Bitcoin SV shills are out in force, believing that Craig Wright is Satoshi, of course, believing that Craig Wright actually has these keys from the magic cherub that comes down from the skies. But everything is up, so everything is benefiting from this, whether it's actually this event that is bringing up the price. I would argue that it's not necessarily this event that started that was the catalyst, if you will, as Bitcoin was sort of pumping a little bit even before that. If you go to the 1 month. Back to the 1 month, you can see we kind of hit a low for at least the beginning of January at 6,900, and it was even before the 10th that the price was going to like 8,300, and now we're really climbing very quickly. So I hope everybody is happy that have held on to their crypto over that sort of bearish period we were running through there when Litecoin was down to like $38 and Ethereum was down to 122. So we are back up and running for now. So this could be a good catalyst before the halvening of Bitcoin, which is going to happen in May. I don't know the exact day in May, but depending on the hash rate, etc., and the Bitcoin mining and what block it is on what day. But this could be a good catalyst for that, so that if we can, get to 10,000 or something like that, stay stable for a little bit, and then when the big news starts coming out, so it's going to be coming sooner or later, within a couple months, there's going to be halvening news everywhere, left and right, all over Reddit's forums, news sites, and that's going to just create a lot of FOMO, and there's going to be a big pump. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if the halvening pumps to back up to something like 14,000, like we were at in mid 2019 there, and then dumps a little bit, sort of like a buy the rumor, sell the news type deal. And then after about 6 months, that halvening is really going to start. Everybody's really going to start feeling that effect from people buying left and right, from miners. It does take a while for people to feel that effect, for people to be taking off exchanges and putting it in Trezor wallets, to be putting it in wallets, etc., like that, offline wallets, etc., and then starting to realize, hey, there's not a lot of new Bitcoin coming onto the exchanges, so the price is going to get a little bit higher as people are going to be buying more and more. It is sort of a long-term, slow process that doesn't really happen overnight. Now, the FOMO might start happening overnight, but the actual effects, the real effects of the halvening of mining of Bitcoin is sort of a long-term effect over the next couple years. But another way to look at crypto is lower highs every year. So don't necessarily look at the 14,000 or the 20,000, the all-time highs or anything, but take a look at the all-time low of the year. They're typically higher than the last and higher than the last. So that's a pretty good base to go off of instead. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, share the video, like the video, all that good stuff. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.